May 1810 in Buenos Aires, the Primera Junta was set up to govern the Spanish colony. After Ferdinand VII of Spain had been deposed by the French, they were at this point still loyal to the king. But a small council of regency in Spain still tried to assert their authority over the colonies. This meant that all the territories in the viceroyalty of the Rio de la Plata, of which Buenos Aires was the capital, had to pick sides, either the Council of Regency or the Premier, a junta most of Monday. Argentina sided with the junta, but Monday, Bolivia, and Uruguay did not. And in Paraguay, the governor, Bernardo de Velasco, sided with the Council of Regency. But during the Congress on this decision, many like José Rodríguez de Francia began to call for independence from Buenos Aires and even from Spain. This is because the region had long been left, isolated from the rest of Rio de la Plata, and as such had become somewhat self-reliant. Plus, in the previous couple decades, industries like shipbuilding and tobacco farming had created new, wealthy people, many of which were Creole. However, these wealthy Creoles, white people born in South America, had very little authority as power was held by the Peninsulares. White people born in Spain. Meanwhile, the junta in Buenos Aires had already crushed a counter-revolution in Córdoba and sent an army into Upper Peru. And they believed that they would be welcomed in Paraguay. So they sent Manuel Belgrano to the region, with an army of a couple hundred men, but many more joined the army on the way. So around 900 men reached the Rio Parana by December, and successfully fought their way across. Velasco, however, had ordered the villages to be evacuated, allowing Belgrano's army to reach the Rio Paraguay by January. But support from the Paraguayans was not forthcoming. So despite being outnumbered 4-1, Belgrano just attacked the Paraguayans. Hoping to take Asunción, he was defeated in the following battle. But his losses were quite small. So Belgrano just retreated to the Tabacuari River to await reinforcement from Buenos Aires. The Huns were obliged, but their navy was just newly created, and their 3 ships were defeated by a royalist fleet. At the Battle of St. Nicholas, in early March 1811, Belgrano was therefore left without reinforcements, and the Paraguayans countered with a much larger force. A few days later, Paraguayans were successful at Tacuari, and Belgrano fled, ending the Paraguayan campaign. But even though Velasco was successful in defending Paraguay, he had asked the Portuguese in Brazil for aid in this conflict, fearing being placed under Portuguese rule. In May 1811, Pedro Juan Caballero and Fulgencio Yegros rose up and forced Velasco to resign. In his place, a 5-man junta, which included Francia, was set up, and they declared independence from Spain and the Rio de la Plata. But over time, Francia would isolate members of the junta and have them removed from power until he ruled alone. In 1820, Yegros and Caprera were plotting to oust Dominico. But this was discovered, and like many other alleged conspirators, they were arrested and executed. Then Franco was free to rule over Paraguay as a dictator until 1840, and he reformed the nation along utopian ideals, like giving church land to the people and making Paraguay incredibly isolationist. But he ruled with an iron fist. Alongside his newly created secret police, the hairy feet, and he introduced unique laws, like banning people from marrying within their own race, maybe to curb the influence of Spaniards in Paraguay. But no other nation recognized Paraguayan independence until after Franco's death in the 1840s.